Welcome to Yo-Yo Talk. We've got a lot of fun things to take a look at tonight, but before we get into that, I just want to announce this is going to be my last live show for our previous 74 episodes. It has always been live. We were trying to work on getting a lot of interactions, and I appreciate all those people that have already signed in. But the honest to God truth is our viewership is pretty low for the live show. And even though we've got those hardcore people that are here every month, it's what's happening is Sean Berg, who's been the producer, is now an Orange County firefighter. So congratulations to Sean and his new career. But that doesn't leave him really available for the Yo-Yo Talk. And it's, even though I offered him a lot of dead presidents, I was actually talking about coins and they were offering the paper dead presidents. So paper always wins over rock, but it also wins over coins as well, I think. So anyway, we decided, well, I guess I kind of decided it wasn't going to work, me doing the talking head thing and trying to operate a computer at the same time. And so it's not the end of Yo-Yo Talk. We're going to still have it every Thursday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, every first Thursday of the month. It's just going to be a pre-recorded show like most shows that you watch on television. And we may work out a way that we can still interact and all that, and I'll probably be watching the show and I can interact. But now, sadly, one of my favorite parts of the show is doing the trivia contest at the end of the show, and that has to be done live. And though we were kind of planning on doing it tonight, the schedules were just crazy. We weren't even sure Sean was going to make it here. So we didn't get a trivia contest put together. But I've got a lot of other fun stuff. And, of course, we'll be having our giant trivia contest at Nationals. So save all your brain cells for the National Championships. And that'll be a super I was going to do supercalifragilisticexpialidocious type of trivia contest, but I couldn't spit it out. But anyway, I appreciate all the support of the live viewers for these previous 74 episodes. And it's still going to be a live show, but pre-recorded just like Saturday Night Live, but only better. So what's on the agenda for tonight's exciting show? Well, first, we have a recap of the Florida State Yo-Yo Championships, which just happened this weekend. If you attended, you got your I am a very cool card punched. And I went into a yo-yo rage room, and that didn't work out well for some homeless bottles. And we'll update you on the current state of the Hall of Fame nominees. And I'll be discussing a new Russell yo-yo catalog that just got released. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you'll only see on Yo-Yo Talk, probably for a good reason. So anyway, first I wanted to mention there is a small yo-yo display in the, I think it's the C.K. Gordon Museum in Thurber, Texas. I'm not exactly sure where Thurber, Texas actually is. I think actually Thurber is a ghost town. I'm not sure anybody lives there. But anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want getting a lot of hate mail from all the citizens of Thurber. But anyway, the museum is like to Thurber what Disney World is like to Orlando. So if you go to Thurber, you go to the museum or they charge you with some kind of misdemeanor or something. So everybody's got to go to this museum. And it's got a little yo-yo display show. Just show that little clip there, Sean. If you happen to be in Mingus, Texas, there's a museum there, the W.K. Gordon Museum, and they're doing a little yo-yo display. Mingus, Texas is, I guess, this museum is at Thurber, which is apparently a ghost town. But anyway, they have a museum display now of yo-yos. They asked me over a year ago for some yo-yos, so I gave them some stuff and took them a year, but finally they got together a little display. And I encourage folks, when their local museums ask them for yo-yos, to please provide them with some yo-yos so the kiddies can see it and learn a little bit about the history of the yo-yos. Now, in this case, I think they're going to give most of these yo-yos away to kids in a yo-yo collector kit. So they all sign up and they'll have a big drawing. I'm not exactly sure what the population of Mingus is, but I think you'd have a pretty good chance of winning that if you entered. Now, don't ask me how to get there. I think you take a left at Colville. Yes, there is a town named Colville, and then you're there. All those were the instructions on how to get there from like 1920. So your GPS might be a little more up to date. So if you happen to be in Thurber, Texas, check out the museum and the yo-yo display there. Now, you may or may not have heard I had a short film out going through the film festival circuit this year called Yo-Yo Dominance. It was actually an official selection in 9 or 10 of the festivals. It's a reject and a bunch more. But anyway, that's another story. So it did pick up a few awards in the experimental film divisions, which is somewhat of a bit of an irony since it was all done by AI. But since this festival season has kind of ended, I can now show it publicly, at least in the state of Florida. So now, before you turn off, it's only 3 minutes long, so I won't put you through a lot. And a little hint in watching, if you are known to take mind-altering substances, now would be a good time, as I have been told it is much more enjoyable when watching this film that way. So, Sean, let's show them Yo-Yo Dominance.
I like playing with dangerous yo-yos in a brand new world without a lot of rules, because then they are designed to be used by skill. In other words, you can use these tricks as thought experiments in ethics and social commentary. Yo-yo domination is what I'm talking about. A world where few are born with wealth, or strong family ties, or a high IQ, or a beautiful face. A world where making money and luck is a matter of when. Even if you have the right talent, with the yo-yo practice is important for the submission of others. Only the top do it all the time. I like that kind of world. In a simpler world, money and luck would win over talent, but in the reverse, you will learn a lot if you play with a yo-yo for many years. The best yo-yo skills are deadly ones. If you have to choose a set of tricks, go with some that will kill your opponent. The thing about death, no matter how natural it seems, can be traumatizing to a person. Noting as the world compares to a yo-yo kill of an opponent. You never forget your first, no matter how many years. I've never seen the same skill on the internet than my first in tournament. You make a choice and start working on the skill. I decapitated my first opponent in less than 10 seconds using a plasma yo-yo string. It was as pure a kill as one can think of. It was a pure and simple shock to an unsuspecting opponent. I left him in shock, only to have him later challenge me after having his head reattached by pirate doctors skilled in treating yo-yo traumas. Even though he was fresh off the heels of me, I still had the advantage in that his head was sewn on backwards. However, it was difficult to sneak up on him. After losing his first match, he looked with horror to see what I had to say to him. "You'll never win," I told him. His hands were shaking as he looked down at his buttocks. At that point, he knew he was in trouble.
All right. I know some of you are saying that film was mind-altering without even taking anything. And thanks for the comments. Yeah, those are good comments. Thank you. And thank you for those folks that are offering to help in keeping it a live show. Please, after the show, let's reach out and talk. If there's some way I can do it, I'm not sure how we can do it without somebody sitting in the control room. But anyway, happy to listen to your thoughts on that. And just a little thing about that film. That was the dialogue was kind of disjointed because that was made before ChatGPT, and I noticed in the film festival circuit earlier on in the circuit it was winning these little awards, and then ChatGPT came out and it's so good. They were going, well, what is this crap? But that was some version of AI creating that before ChatGPT, because if you've ever used ChatGPT, it's amazing. It would create this cohesive story. But the other one was nice because it just shows how bizarre AI can be. All right, so we just finished the Florida State Yo-Yo Championship, and I noticed up on the chat somebody was asking about how it did last weekend. And if you missed it, then you didn't get one of these cool Cajun Spinner yo-yos, which were one of the yo-yos that they had there at the event. They had 3 different colors. I noticed the colors are one is Florida's colors, one is Florida State's colors, and then your traditional orange. And I think I think I saw one up on eBay right now. I only think I saw one. So if you want to get one of those very cool yo-yos, there's still one on eBay. And I think they had a release of another yo-yo that may have some kind of weight rings on it. I don't have one of those. So that may be for sale up on eBay. I'm not sure. John can certainly chime in there and say whether or not he's got those up for sale or not. So anyway, here's a recap of what happened at Florida State Championships this last weekend. Here's a little recap of the Florida State Yo-Yo Championships and what you missed. This is for 2023. And first off, a big shout out to Dano, the Mano, and Jane. Without these guys, we couldn't have done the contest. They were the linchpin of the whole thing. And of course, we couldn't have done it without all the fantastic sponsors, and there were several. It actually kind of started on Friday before the big event on Saturday, when a few of the VIPs showed up at my house to check out the yo-yo collection. I wanted to do a little trading, but none of that happened. But a lot of people had fun going through the collection and catching up together, throwing a few yo-yos. The big thing, I guess, was last year we did 2-hand loops through the yo-yo curtain. This year it was doing DNAs through the yo-yo curtain. So everybody had a good time. The next day we moved on. That was Saturday to Desertland. We were positioned right in the middle of the mall, so we had really good public exposure. And there were a ton of vendors there at the event, so participants got a chance to pick up some great newly released yo-yos. Sadly, the trading action was kind of sparse and kind of like the middle of the Gobi Desert type of sparse. But that's okay. We did have some very cool event yo-yos, so folks picked up some of those. And maybe one day we can get some more collectors coming to these things. We had some of the social media superstars, the biggest influencers present at the event. Gentry and Betty both did autograph signings. The newer players got a chance to interact with them. And the competition was so well run and very organized. The biggest participation in the event was, of course, the 1A division, and the competition was very fierce. And I might add at this point, the preliminaries and finals will all be posted on Yo-Yo Talk's YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to Yo-Yo Talk and make sure you hit that notification button. So all these different contestants will be shown. There was an X division, there was a sport division, and a few special events, which were some DNA contests that Gentry largely ran, and that was a lot of fun to get to watch those. Gentry and Betty both did some exhibition performances for the crowd. And of course, my favorite event was the Doc Lucky's Duos, where two players interacted together for a 2-minute performance. There were 3 teams competing this year. The duo's winner were Bella and Betty, who together have probably a zillion social media followers and a gazillion views on their internet sites. They picked up some very cool stuff, and these Doc Lucky Duo Champion patches. Very cool. And just a reminder for those that want to check out the winners and all the different performances that went on during the 2023 state championships here in Florida. Those all will be posted on Doc Lucky's Yo-Yo Talk YouTube channel, so make sure you sign up for that. Hopefully see you guys next year at the 2024 contest, and bring some yo-yos to trade. So each year the Florida State Championships just get better and better, and I still want to do another shout out to Dano the Mano and Jane. They are the ultimate event running tag team. So I suspect next year, if Dano's still, running it, it's just going to be even more fantastic. So, well, my family wanted to go to the Rage Room over Thanksgiving break, and I thought to myself, what a great place to try out some lethal yo-yos, some of these kind of heavy metal ones, and let's see how that worked out for us. All right, there are several Rage Rooms in Orlando, and there's a lot of pinup rage in my family. So we decided to go check one out. Personally, I wanted to know what happens if you take some heavy metal yo-yos into a smash room. And if you're not familiar with a Rage smash room, the concept is very simple. Dress up in protective gear, use bats, crowbars, and sledgehammers, and yo-yos to crush various items of glassware, bottles, and even computer monitors. Okay, we're in the Rage Room. We're going to see what kind of damage we can do with the yo-yo now. Don't try this at home, folks. All right, we'll have to go to something else then, maybe Botha. See if that'll work. This is what happens when you tell the wife you spent the money planned for the new sofa on some really sweet yo-yos. Remember, only enter a rage room with a yo-yo if you are a trained professional.
Wow,
There
was that
will
from
be
the
blood,
yo-yo?
I promise.
Yeah, it must have been.
So you don't need to spend all that money for a rage room. You can just go down to your local junkyard and set up bottles, and it's a lot cheaper that way. So I mentioned earlier in the show that there was a new Russell yo-yo catalog. It's well, you'll see in a second. It's just been released. The author gave me permission to spread the word like Johnny Appleseed. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little clip here to tell you all about it, but it is kind of cool. Every once in a while, something happens in the yo-yo collecting world that is very exciting, and I'm also pleased to be able to share. There is now a topic-specific collector's guide that was just released that is fantastic for those Russell yo-yo collectors out there. If you've watched any Yo-Yo Talk episodes in the past, you know that there's no particular way to approach yo-yo collecting. You can be an indiscriminate collector like me, who collects just about everything, or you can specialize in a niche like collecting, for instance, glow yo-yos, character yo-yos, souvenir yo-yos, yo-yos from a certain company, but you get the idea. With this particular catalog, it's very specific for yo-yos and memorabilia produced by the Russell Yo-Yo Company for the campaigns they did in South Africa from the 60s through the 80s. This catalog was put together by Alwyn Botha, and you can tell when you look through it, it's an absolute labor of love. What I like about this catalog is the organization and detail putting into documenting each of the campaigns, their yo-yos, their memorabilia, and if you know the history or don't know the history, they try to include as much of that as they can. If you collect Russell yo-yos, you know it's sometimes very hard to date and place the country of origin, and this book really details the South African Russell yo-yo. Looking through, you can also see what the yo-yos went from when they went from the Debossed imprints pre-1978 to the flat stamp prints the following years. And this is typical for all Russell yo-yos around the world. The Debossed yo-yos are 1977 and before, and that can be used to help date these Russell yo-yos. But what got my mouth really watering is I saw some yo-yos that I'd never seen before. And I'm going to punt a couple out here in a second or two. But first I want to say up front that this is not a picture price guide. Values are really hard to determine. If you want to know what a value of a particular yo-yo is, then look on eBay. eBay is the stock market for yo-yos. I have people call me all the time and say, well, what is the value of this yo-yo? And I say, well, it sold on eBay last week for XYZ. And they respond, oh, I know it's worth a lot more than that. And my response is always, well, it's only worth what you can get somebody to pay you for it. And that's the bottom line. So here is a sneak peek of a couple of yo-yos I've never seen before, and I now covet them. These gold and silver award yo-yos are very sweet, and I am to assume very few of these were made compared to the standard models, and they were likely only given out as contest awards. I checked past auction listings and I couldn't find either of these having been sold at auction. So if you happen to have a duplicate of one of these jewels in your collection, give me a buzz. We could do some serious trading, I think. So there is one other I want to point out that I wish I had in my collection, but it's also new to me. And that is the break dancer yo-yo from 1985 and 1988, the campaigns that were run there. Now, one of these break dancer yo-yos did sell at auction with a couple other Russell yo-yos in 2022 for $50. So I figure the value of this break dancer is in the $25 to $35 range. Apparently a lot of them were made. However, you might have to go to South Africa to find one. The other yo-yos that interest me are the ones that are written in Afrikaans. Very cool. and I'd like to pick up a couple of those. Anyway, you're probably wondering at this point what this is going to set you back financially to get this little catalog. The good news is it's free, and that's a good price. The bad news is the catalog is available only from the author, and you must contact him directly to request your copy, and then he'll email you a downloadable copy. So here's his email. I'm not making a link that you can just click on because I don't want to get him a lot of spam. But if you really want the catalog, you can write it down and contact him. Make sure you thank Alwyn, as he has done a great service for the yo-yo community with this Russell South Africa yo-yo catalog. So if you like Russell yo-yos, that's a pretty good catalog. And like I said, I have a terrible time identifying Russell yo-yos because they kind of all look the same. And as I'm watching that little piece, I realized that I was wrong about one thing because I had never seen that breakdancer yo-yo before. And for some reason, and I don't know why, when I said 77 and before, which has traditionally always been true with the Russell yo-yos, those are debossed, where they're kind of imprinted or engraved, if you will, into the face of the yo-yo. They apparently did a debossed breakdancer yo-yo as well as just the screen printed. So to me, the debossed one is the one to get if you're, well, actually either one of them is fine to get because I covet both of them. But that would be now the one exception that I'm aware of that doesn't work out, because those I think were 85 and 88. I think they used the same yo-yos in the 88 campaign as they did in 85. But as far as I know, all the other Russell yo-yos that are 77 and before, they would be the ones you can identify because they're debossed, not screen printed on the face of the yo-yo. Now, speaking of yo-yo championships, Michigan also completed their own state yo-yo championships, and all the prelims and all the finals are on Doc Lucky Yo-Yo Talks channel. So that's on YouTube. And Jane was good enough to create a, a watch list for those. So you can go out and check out all those videos. I did want to pull out one, though, that was kind of special. And Dennis Shatter broke 2 world records at the same time for knocking quarters off of folks' ears. So I want to show you a little clip of that because that's kind of fun. So check this clip out.
All right, who's ready to see Dennis break this record? All right, whenever you're ready, Dennis.
3, 2, 1.
1, 2.
Reset it, Jake, reset it. Get out of the way.
4, 5.
More back.
No, recorder. No, recorder. Recorder. No, recorder.
Nice.
No, recorder.
Oh
my God. Nice. Get over there.
Recorder.
Sorry, that's
Oh!
57.
That's a new world record.
Everybody give him a round of applause.
Yeah, Dano, there is no link for trivia because we're not having a trivia contest. You've tuned in a little late. We just didn't have enough time to get one together. I hope you got to see the recap of the Florida State Yo-Yo Championships. If you didn't, you're going to have to go back and rewatch the episode, Dano. The anti-Yo-Yo Cup online yo-yo contest was also finished, And you can check out all the winners on their YouTube channel. They also hosted a Doc Lucky's duo competition. And there's the winner's clip is kind of cool. I just broke it up into a few little pieces so you could get an idea, because I'm really pushing these duos at these contests. So check this out. So anyway, those were some of the contests that just finished up over the last month or so, and most of these are online and you can check them out. And I think we're going to get the state champion. Dano's watching right now, so he can tell us whether those are going to be posted here shortly or not for Florida. We'll be down next week, Dano says. Okay, so that's great. Oh, Nick will be down next week. Sorry. That means a little underwater hockey action with the Nickinators, so that's good. Hall of Fame. We have till December 31st to get a nomination in. If you haven't put in a nomination, you only get one. Currently, we've received 119 nominations, but here's the deal. We only have 7 candidates so far. So if there are fewer than 10 different nominees, then all are going to end up going into the finalist pool in January 1st, and we'll start voting through the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts then, because we don't need to go through the Hall of Famers to select the final 10, because all 7 will be finalists. So anyway, it's the same nominees as we had last month that I showed you. I'm going to show you the list here again. Go on and pop that up there, Sean. There you go. Jimmy Johnson, Ted Anderson, Dennis Franzen, Chuck Short, Kenichi Nakamura, Tommy Reyes, Stuart Crump, and the amazing Mark McBride. So those are our 7 nominees so far. At this rate, there'll probably be our 7 finalists. Normally, the 3 with the most nominations will get in automatically into the finalist pool. But in this case, everybody looks like is going to get in because there's only 7. So if you do see somebody, and there's several names that I would like to see up there that should be nominated but aren't, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll be up there in future years. So if you haven't put in a nomination, please do, but make sure it's before December 31st, because that's the end. All right, well, that's about all I have for tonight's show. Again, no trivia contest for tonight. We'll have the trivia contest, of course, Nationals in June, so save all your brain cells until then. Just a reminder, this is going to be the last live show, unless we can figure out some kind of miracle here to keep it live. The show will go on, though. It's just going to be pre-recorded. It's going to be shown same time, same bat channel, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the first Thursday of every month. And guys and gals, remember, you can never have too many yo-yos. So I will see you guys next January, January the 4th. This is Doc Lucky signing off.